I was taught that you sin, you go to hell, and so why am I going to believe in something that's condemning me straight to hell? That was the conception I had. My name's Houston, and I'm from Florence, South Carolina. I was addicted to heroin for 7 years or so. I was an IV heroin user, and I've always had an addict type of behavior as long as I can remember. Growing up, had a mother and father who cared about me. Dad was a little strict on me, but nothing out of the ordinary, I'd say. When I was 13, he committed suicide, and my whole world crashed. And from that point on, I was very rebellious and just looking for something that I never could find. Of course, I did the normal drinking thing in high school, and even at that point, I went above and beyond. Every time, never failed. I broke my ankle on a job, and I got prescribed Lorceps. I took them like was prescribed for about 6 months, and then the doctor pulled me off of them. When he did, I didn't know anything about withdrawals or physical dependency or any of that, but I soon found out, and it took no time for me to start going and finding them elsewhere. And that went on for a while. Then I got hospitalized for bursitis, and I'll never forget the day. And the woman said, well, I'm going to give you some medicine for pain. And I was like, okay. I have a high tolerance to pain medication. I've been taking it for a while. She said, that's okay. She put an IV in and gave me Dilaudid. From that point on, I knew I'd be a needle junkie. I knew it, no doubt in my mind. And I struggled. I was in and out of jail. I went to prison a couple times. I never knew the answer. I was always missing something in my life. Never knew what it was. Never believed in God. Never did. I just didn't buy into the whole thing. I was in prison, and a piece of mail came through the slot. And it was from a woman I didn't know. I had no clue who she was. And basically, she was writing me, asking me if I'd be willing to go to a rehab facility. And I wasn't too keen on it. I had been in and out of rehabs. Nothing had ever worked. I was like, well, what's the point, you know? And so I kind of put it to the side. I was like, I'll write her back. I appreciate the offer, but it's probably not for me. I didn't know this at the time, but God was working. God was working in me. He was softening me. And I sat there and I kept looking at that letter. And I finally wrote her back, and I told her, I said, look, I'll try it, you know? So we corresponded back and forth. And she kept writing me while I was in prison, setting all this up. And she asked me one day, she was like, do you have any family that could help pay for you to go? I've burned all those bridges. I was like, I don't want to ask them for anything else. I've abused them enough. She was like, well, I tell you what, if you agree to go, I'll make sure you get there. I'll pay for it. And that was the turning point. Okay, well, this is going to happen. So the day I got out of prison, I came to the Bridge Center, and it's completely changed my perspective on God. It's given me a new outlook. It's just a beacon of light in the dark, bro. That's what the Bridge Center is to me. I was lost as I can be. I was here for 3 days. I got here on a Tuesday. It was a Friday. It was a Freestyle Friday at Chase's Church. I'll never forget that. And CJ said something, and these words will always stick with me. He said, God is not bargaining with you, period. And that's what I had done my whole life, was bargain with God. I'll do this if you do that. Didn't know that wasn't how it worked. It's not how it works. So that's the night that I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And ever since that moment, life's been beautiful. It hadn't always been great, but it's been beautiful. I'm rebuilding a relationship with my kids. I have a relationship with my mom. I bought a car. I've got a job. I'm employable for once in my life in a long time. Things have just turned around, and I'm forever grateful for what they have done for me.